we condemn the action taken by the Punjab police in Mohali, Punjab, India, which is taken on 5th of December 2013 at 11:45 p.m., which is during midnight, whose plainclothes plain officers violated Gurbaksh Singh's legal rights when they unlawfully and forcibly removed 43 years old Gurbaksh Singh from the Gurdwara Am Sahib, which is a historical Sikh place in Mohali, Punjab, who was on the 22nd day of the hunger strike to support the release of Sikh prisoners. Secondly, Gurbaksh Singh was produced before an executive magistrate on 6th of December 2013 without legal reps when he was remanded in custody for a further period of 15 days. Gurbaksh Singh's preventive arrest and continued detention for preventing a breach of the peace under Section 107 and 151 of the Indian Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 is unlawful because his peaceful hunger strike, while prayers were said, posed no risk of a breach of the peace as he was supporting a legitimate public interest for the release of Sikh prisoners, and he was exercising his constitutional right to freedom of speech and expression under Articles 19 and rights to life and personal liberty under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Further, the said plainclothes Punjab police officers who made the midnight arrest while under the influence of alcohol breached Section 295A of the Indian Penal Code 1860 by hurting the religious sentiments of Sikhs, whose religious tenets prohibit the entry into Gurdwara premises whilst under the influence of alcohol. The arrest also breached the Supreme Court's guidelines for such arrests as laid down in the case of D.K. Basu v. State of West Bengal. The reference number is AIR 1997 SC 610, which require inter alia that such arrests are made during the day, not at night, and by uniformed police officers. You can also watch eyewitnesses' accounts of the forcible removal of Bhai Gurbaksh Singh Ji Khalsa at various YouTube videos and Facebook. Gurbaksh Singh has been on hunger strike at Gurdwara Am Sahib since 14th of November 2013 to highlight the plight and injustice against 6 Sikh prisoners who have served between 18 to 23 years of their life sentence but have been refused early release, whilst other lifers who have been released after 14 years, the minimum that a lifer must serve under the law. In 2012, Kishori Lal, the multiple murderer in the November 1984 massacre of Sikhs, was released after serving 16 years. On the night of Gurbaksh Singh's unlawful removal from Gurdwara Am Sahib, many Sikhs had gathered there earlier in the day to support him. Having travelled from Akal Takht Sahib in Amritsar, the temporal seat for Sikhs, all but a few Sikhs had left the Gurdwara by 10 p.m. on the same day, a few hours before the Punjab police forcibly removed Gurbaksh Singh. About 20 to 30 Punjab police officers who were in plain clothes used force in order to abduct and wrongfully confine Gurbaksh Singh by pretending that they had arrived to do prayers and to support at the Am Sahib Gurdwara. When one of the hunger strike supporters recognized a police officer and raised an alarm, the police immediately used force to remove Gurbaksh Singh and bundled him into a waiting vehicle in full view of hundreds of uniformed police officers. The Punjab police members who forcefully removed Gurbaksh Singh were under the influence of alcohol at the Gurdwara, which is again under Section 295A of the Indian Penal Code against the Sikh sentiments. Now what do we appeal? We appeal to the Prime Minister of India and to the Chief Minister of Punjab to issue a public statement condemning the police action and to ensure those responsible for such actions are held accountable both on a local and national and international level by instituting a reform of the Punjab police rules to specifically require each police officer to protect and uphold the sanctity of place of worship. This includes investigating and charging not only the officer who authorized the forcible removal and wrongful confinement of Gurbaksh Singh, but also those responsible for creating a climate in which abuses of basic civil and human rights can take place with impunity. We also call on the Prime Minister to introduce legislation to limit the power given to police and magistrates under Section 107 and 151 of the Code of Criminal Procedure, so that these sections do not apply to peaceful protesters, such as hunger strikes, which deserve the active sympathy of society and not condemnation of punishment. We appeal to the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister of Punjab to swiftly and effectively launch an investigation and appropriately remove the police force, the perpetrators of the incident at Gurdwara Am Sahib. Those who use their power to intimidate and flaunt the rule of law have no rights to maintain their positions of power. We also appeal for such actions which are against the officers who were responsible for this incident, namely the officer who authorized the use of subterfuge to forcibly remove Gurbaksh Singh and who did not ensure if the Punjab police officers involved were in a fit and proper state to enter a Sikh Gurdwaras. We appeal to the National Human Rights Commission to take suo motu cognizance of the incident and launch an independent investigation of the forcible removal and detention of Gurbaksh Singh and the surrounding circumstances. Upon completion of the investigation, we urge the Human Rights Commission to take appropriate action to seek justice for the aggrieved parties, hold those responsible accountable, and prevent such actions from occurring in the future. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru